Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and sitting across from me, I've got Kevin O'Brien. Hey, Kevin.
Thank you very much for having me, Jeff.
Thank you for being here. And this is it fair to say this is a long time coming, or?
Yeah.
Because we got a fun history.
Absolutely. You very graciously accepted us into the Film Invasion
And by
Festival.
us, you mean you made the short film, Hey, I got to say it properly. I got to read it off. Hey, HeLP-O, let's go, with exclamation points.
Thank you, yes.
Hey, HeLP-O, let's go.
Yeah.
And you submitted that film to Film Vision Los Angeles for 2025.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic, original, creative sci-fi film. So we accepted it. But due to the world of film festival runs, you weren't really allowed to screen it before, at the time we held Film Vision LA, and you sent me an email about it.
Exactly.
And I made you, I will say this publicly, when people come to us with that, our response is not, okay, well you can go pound sand. We'll unclick selected inside the website. No, we just go, all right, well we got another festival in 6 months if you want to be in it. But you can be in ours without a screening.
Yeah.
And get your pass and be eligible for awards and have fun. And I remember you were very gracious because I remember you coming and being at like a mixer and being at some screenings, and you always said something nice. I'm like, see, quality guy.
Well, thank you very much. It was very generous of you, and we had a great time at the gala. We had a great time at the festival. We saw, an incredible block of shorts, and it was a great time. And that was my experience at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival too.
Yeah. So you are the unique person who was in both festivals in the same year.
Exactly, yeah.
And now, hey, HeLP-O, let's go. Well, at Film Vision Los Angeles in 2025, won the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Originality in Sci-Fi.
Thank you very much.
And I'll repeat it. Just yesterday, you won yesterday, because this won't come out till later in December. Actually, it might be this month. But Sherman Oaks Film Festival wrapped last night, and hey, HeLP-O, let's go. I was at an extra Hey, HeLP-O, let's go.
It's still hard for me to say. Hey, HeLP-O, let's go.
It's even hard for you.
It's difficult for me to casually say the phrase because it's sort of like demanding excitement out of you. You know what I mean?
It does.
So I think we picked the name, and then afterwards we were like, oh man, it's kind of like kind of have to get into a groove to say it.
I mean, let's put it this way: it'll be memorable. 10 years from now, if I'm talking to a juror and I go, hey, you remember Hey, HeLP-O, let's go? They're gonna remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
And also because it took me 3 minutes to get here, but you got the same award at Sherman Oaks Film Festival 2025.
Thank you very much.
The Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Originality in Sci-Fi. And I will add, if you didn't know, that the Filmmakers Awards are chosen by a jury of your peers. It's our alumni jury, so they're actual active filmmakers. And I always point out that it's also that the other awards are chosen by the selection jury. And you have a very different perspective when you've watched the out of 800 films, 65 or so are in the festival. So we've seen the 735 that we didn't care for that much. So I think it changes our perspective. Whereas that the Filmmakers Board, they only watch the official selections after we've selected them.
Right.
So they're not jaded by I think we're jaded.
Well,
I'm admitting to being jaded.
You guys have also created a sort of like bed of experience for them to operate within also. That, just going off of the award you guys, very graciously gave to us, most original, sort of you've kind of laid down a bed of what to expect in different genres and what's going on, specifically in this chunk of time that's being represented. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And we do, and because obviously directing and writing is normal, but we also just do performer and cast performance, which I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't separate but we don't separate by gender or anything. We just separate by genre. So that's why you got it for sci-fi. But there's also a most original horror, most original drama, comedy, action, animation, art house. Did I leave out anybody? I don't think so.
No, that sounds about right. I
got them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got them all.
Yeah.
7. So anyway. I just rambled about awards for a while. So you're here now because that's why it was a long time coming, because there was a chance that we could have done this after after
absolutely.
Film Invasion in June.
Yes,
but better to wait till after that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. It was a great experience. It's really great to see the crowd react to the costume. Hey HeLP-O, Let's Go revolves around a paper butler robot character that is somewhere between a puppet and a costume. It stands about 5.5 feet tall. It's made out of cardstock. It's printed on these billboard-sized sheets of cardstock that I, cut and glued together in my mom's garage, laid over a sort of PVC lattice and stuck onto a dolly, which I sort of inserted myself into. And it's always just a kick to see audiences react to a character that is realized in a way that is not just novel, but they most likely have never seen rendered in this way specifically before. And it's a privilege.
And obviously, I love the high-end computer animation type things that we show too, but it's, as you just described it. I mean, it is dedicatedly lo-fi, right?
Absolutely.
Like it's you chose to make it out of physical paper.
Yeah, and I think there's something very familiar and safe about that,
and refreshing, and honestly, well, I guess an animator, people could have, but like the cuteness level is off the charts. You know what I mean? Like there's something cuter about something organic and real.
There's something endearing about it, I think.
Yeah, maybe endearing is the better word.
Yeah, exactly. And could you achieve that through other means? Like, absolutely. But I think for specifically the story that we were telling and the themes that we were trying to hit, this was the best way to illustrate this character. And I think it's because we reverse engineered it. We started from a point of paper is the medium that I feel comfortable building a costume with. I know I want to hit these kind of feelings. I want some kind of character that is cute and non-human. And then from there, it was like, okay, great. Well, what is this character going to be? It's going to be a robot. And then you take those components and you find a theme and you find a story. By you, I mean James Kisling-Berry, the writer of the film.
I was about to name the writer.
Yeah. But I think that's why it all seems like it's all very bespoke and works together. And it's because that's the way that you're designing it. So,
and it's funny. I normally like to get to someone's personal story earlier, but I don't want to forget to ask, which is, so that was your decision. Like when you read James's script. Well, you read it and did he describe it as that naturalistic, or or was that your way of interpreting the script, that like, I actually think it should look like it's made of paper?
No, I think I appreciate you asking me that question, because that helps me kind of clarify, is that it actually was the opposite way. So I had just made a short film that was fairly sad and just wanted to make something that was lighter and softer, and was watching My Neighbor Totoro just over and over and over again, and all the Miyazaki films. And I was like, man, I really want to do something like this. I don't have knowledge of my ability to do that right now. And so it was like, okay, great. You want to make a film about a non-human character. What materials are you going to use? Paper. Great. Okay. Paper. I can print on paper. What's an artificial character? That sounds like a robot. Then I went to my friend and said, hey, I've got a movie that I'd like to make about a young woman and a paper robot. It can be whatever you want it to be. I think there's some sort of metaphor in there, because robots are made out of metal and are usually very strong, and this one's made out of paper. So maybe there's something there about how life is short and very temporary, or shorter and more temporary than we sort of even conceive of it on a daily basis. And he said, great, being very skilled, James just took it and ran. And I think that's why, again, like we were saying earlier, why it all seems to sort of gel so well, and why it seems like, oh yeah, this is the perfect character for this movie. It's because the movie was basically built around the character. I think and there were actually things that James wrote into the script that required the opposite, and I couldn't deliver. Like, the original opening of the movie is a cityscape, a like future cityscape, and even wrote a little joke in the script to me going, oh, a future cityscape. Like, Neil Blomkamp could do this. Like, you can do it too, right? And like, the answer is like, no, I don't have those skills.
He had the luxury of writing directly to his director.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I can't do that. We ended up the movie starts with an infomercial instead of this cityscape. But yeah, I mean, that's a roundabout way, but that's how it
But
came
your
about.
infomercial is kind of the perfect world building trick, right? I mean, that infomercial builds the world right there.
Yeah, and I think I wanted to introduce people to the character as soon as possible. Especially in the medium of short films, I feel like people are being less charitable if you're seeking out short films. You're sort of immediately you need to be met with something that's going to interest you and engage you. And our take on the head-on commercial, if you remember that from like the 90s.
I was gonna say, are you gently referencing attention spans?
maybe. I think my own attention span is sort of there as well. Absolutely.
I think we're all there though.
Totally.
I don't even know if it's short. It's not short. What made Lethal Weapon the Lethal Weapon script sold because she jumped off that balcony and hit the top of a car at the bottom of page 1.
Sure.
He got you on page 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like that's the whole point is who doesn't want to grab their audience early?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, a lot of people, I don't know how much I agree with this, but I think a lot of people treat short films like they are practice for something else. And I think, you should be practicing your craft whenever you can, you know what I mean? And trying to like demand the most of yourself whenever you can and just, acting as though you are really trying to engage a general audience and try to satisfy everybody. I mean, if that's your goal. I think that was our goal with HeLP-O, and that's why HeLP-O is designed to be so cute and appealing. It's because I believe in the message of the film, this idea that sort of life is short, that you should live it in the moment, and would like to communicate that to as many people as possible and, sugarcoat it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, I'm personally ashamed of myself that I never noticed the Totoro connection.
Oh, no, that's great.
Because now I'm looking at the miniature version of HeLP-O, and I'm like, of course it's got the body.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
it is unique enough that, believe me, our now college freshman, she made me watch that film so many times when she was little. It's beautiful. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of people's their favorite.
Sure.
I think of that.
Oh yeah.
Miyazaki's, but now I'm looking at it and like, of course, why didn't I see that?
No, that's a huge compliment.
That also says that says how original it is that even though it had a source that inspired it, it's its own thing.
Well, yeah, the inspiration goes. Well, it's funny because again, the costume is made out of paper, and it's these 5 pieces of paper that are a papercraft doll. But originally, the doll was a Totoro papercraft doll, and then this was what you see in the film was modified by me in various programs,
and
enlarged, by a factor of 2,000.
But you didn't have to engineer it from the start because you used an actual marketed toy as yours. That's smart.
And then you're like taking away the ears, you're changing proportions, and then we worked with an illustrator in Indonesia who goes by Apricot Mayer, and she redesigned the graphics that were once gray and white fur to be the robotic panels of HeLP-O, of the robot.
Nice,
so
nice.
Yeah.
And I have to confess, I don't know how many times I've seen the film. I'm not a good credits watcher. Now I see that your name is listed in the cast. I didn't know you were inside it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I actually didn't know till this conversation that you were
good,
inside.
Good, that's
HeLP-O.
good. I'm glad. I assumed you were. I'm willing to get. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Who wants to be on camera?
No,
but you're inside HeLP-O. I guess I'm gonna have to watch it one more time just to picture you in there. I'm like, I know. I guess. So now we'll get your personal story, but when we get to the part of your personal story when HeLP-O comes up, I will just figure I asked, what was it like to direct from inside a paper robot?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Or did Josh ask that on yesterday, or did that not come up?
We touched on it a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, it was. Sorry, do you want me to hit that or hit the personal story? Oh, okay. I mean, it worked out really well. I mean, the film had been planned to death, basically. So I filmed it in my apartment and filmed a demo edit in that apartment with a smaller prototype version of the costume where I was filming each shot with my phone, playing the role that Quinn Francis eventually plays, the lead of Talia. as myself, and then with the, miming out basically the actions with this prototype costume. And, each shot was figured out. A demo edit was made that pretty much lines up exactly with how the film ended up. And I think that made it so that it was really just sort of executing on a plan that had been so clearly laid out that everyone was able to look at a demo edit, look at a shot list, and kind of do 70% of the work that I think a director is doing if they haven't, on the day of, if they haven't done all that planning, right? Not for better or for worse, but just you can do it on the day of, or you could do it 3 months before. So, yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
And I assume you could pop the head off too and talk to people.
No, it was sort of like being enclosed in a diving bell or something. I had this rig on my shoulders that was made out of PVC, and protecting my shoulders were these pads that I think construction workers use to carry rebar or whatever, which was perfect. And then the head was sort of lowered down onto a post that was above my head. But what I was
keep it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep the shape.
Exactly. Yeah. To keep it upright and to let the head move from left to right. But basically the way I was communicating with the crew was through a phone that was mounted in front of my face, and it was running a call to 2 or 3 other phones. And so I could see the crew.
Right,
I could
you had a FaceTime going.
Exactly. I had a FaceTime going. I could see the monitor, and I could see myself in sort of
such a great solution
position. Oh man, it worked out so well. And again, I'm sure I found that on some forum where somebody who had a cosplay costume or something was using that to. So yeah, a lot of that came out of the research just into cosplay and costuming, and yeah, it's all out there.
Sounds like it was fun. Really fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yet it's a deep film that deals with sadness, and so. But I'm glad that you. But it's joyous too. There's something joyous and sweet.
It's sort of a melancholic film. I think to the film's benefit and maybe also detriment is it occupies a weird kind of tonal space. In that most films you see are going to have a problem that's more dramatic than this, and they're probably going to also have a resolution that's more final than our film has. But I don't know. I sort of appreciate films that kind of work in a middle space. I think in retrospect, I don't know how clear this was beforehand, but Lost in Translation is a movie that I kind of appreciate for that, and that you're kind of coming into these two characters' lives maybe 6/10 of the way into whatever is going to be their big catharsis. And then you kind of leave maybe 8/10 towards that catharsis. And I think that's kind of where we are. When you meet our main character, Talia, she's clearly depressed. Her space is a little in disorder, but maybe not so much as you see in a lot of other films where it's heightened so high. And when we leave her, she's got a better outlook, and she's clearly, seeking to be more active. But I don't know, I've always appreciated films that are kind of in that zone, and you kind of don't get it, which makes perfect sense because, audiences are going to gravitate towards things that are super finite and super elevated, and that's great. But also, if I have my druthers, I'm going to make the movie that I want to see. You know what I mean? And I appreciate sort of a softness there.
And I mean, needless to say, as someone who watches 1,500 or so a year, clearly it only works if you make the film you want to see. If you make a film for what you think someone else wants to see and it's not for you, there's no way.
Yeah.
It might succeed with some, but people who truly care about storytelling and things, they sniff it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sniff out BS so fast.
Totally. And I think, again, something separating this mode and tradition of filmmaking is, that's a huge benefit to screening and viewing short films, is the motivation is going to be different than a feature film. And you mean
you didn't make it with the idea that you would buy a Mercedes, the Mercedes Jeep thing that's over $100,000?
Yeah.
And I wasn't you know what? I'll just make a short film and then I'll be on Easy Street for 5 years.
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's and you're making a film without some committee telling you what you must do for them to fund it and or approve it. Yeah. So So why not lean in and be creative and do your thing?
Yeah, I mean, it may sound like trite.
Later.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, absolutely. I mean, it may sound trite, but I think like that it has tangible results, and I think a lot of. I mean, there are so many feature films that come out and seem like they were made by somebody who, their question to the material, their relation to the material is sort of questionable, and I would challenge. I'd be like, why were you the person to specifically make this film? And if the answer is, because it was assigned to me or because I got the job, like that's fine. But also that is going to make itself known in the work itself. And I think that's why, I think it has something to do with the current pipeline in Hollywood. I don't want to derail us, but something has changed.
No, I mean, I baited you for that because I talked about, having to deal with, with a committee,
Yeah.
But you, look, I mean, my whole life, or somewhere in high school, I think I realized that the more the more names you see for screenplay where there's two people with an ampersand, and then and then another two with an ampersand, and once there's like 6 to 12 names, you just know this has just been beaten to death, just trying to maximize. Like, wait a minute, if we add this scene, we might be able to sell into this territory, and if we change that, you know what I mean? So that's not art. That's there's nothing wrong with commerce.
No.
But in this case, when you're making an independent film,
sure,
short or feature, but when you're making an independent film, make the film you want to see. End of story.
Yeah.
Because nobody know. By the way, all those made by committee films, they never know if it's going to succeed or not when it comes down to it anyway. There's no guarantee.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
It's because it's so funny too, because like filmmaking is this inherently collaborative medium, but at a certain point you get like a super saturated solution where I can't imagine that any of these people can have the kind of relation to the art that you would need to have an expectation. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's interesting. It's just, again, it's another reason why I'm just very grateful to have had the means to make a short film and the community around me to help me produce a short film, because I don't know, it's just a privilege and an honor to be able to operate in a pretty traditional way to create something that is very personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's great.
All right. Well, now I've already, as if I didn't have this impression of you already, but you've shown yourself to be a thoughtful, creative person who cares a lot. So let's go back. Were you a creative kid? When did you get interested in cinema or storytelling?
Yeah, I was always a creative kid, but I think was always sort of drawing or doodling in high school and stuff like that. Somewhere along the way in college, I guess in college I was mostly doing journalism work for a newspaper, and that was sort of my creative outlet. It was definitely a moment too where I was sort of getting to understand, the benefits of like this, of collaborating on a piece with other people and sort of picking up the language of critique and how to take critique and apply it to your work and improve. And then I think,
but it sounds like as a kid you were more visual with drawing and things.
Absolutely.
So your creativity was expressed visually back then.
Totally, and was a huge, just like, it was the perfect time in terms of growing up to like getting into anime, which was a huge influence on the film. So you're you're growing up and you're watching stuff like Cowboy Bebop, and you're watching Miyazaki movies and Ghost in the Shell, all this like really high quality hand animated product that's coming out at really this like crest of a wave that immediately began to fall. Not even in a like not even that it was getting worse, but it was just changing. Computers, the advent of computing was changing the way that animated films get made. But it was this perfect peak where there was just a ton of specific hand animation and totally captured my imagination. And then after college, I got a full-time job and just something was missing. Started making short films with friends of mine, just sort of like on a lark. And I honestly, it's crazy to me that it just
was that in the era where you needed to grab a video camera or was it in the digital era yet?
It was. I graduated in 11, so by then it was very much like phones, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say by then the phone existed.
Or was
what? Was the iPhone 2009?
No, you know what? It wasn't phones yet. It was basically like DSLR cameras, because I think that's what we started shooting on, like a Canon something. My brother, who's the DP of the film, was a photographer, is a photographer to this day, and so I had a friend who wrote. I would plan and direct. He shot him. It was just very easy, and it just suddenly you blink and then you've been doing it for 6 or 7 years, and it's. I think you don't stop because it's fun and it's satisfying, it's fulfilling, but also it's this weird repetitive act that is like your access to adventure, and you're meeting new people, and you are then not only are you meeting new people, but then you are sort of forging these relationships with them that you wouldn't otherwise, because you have this shared intention. So many of my friends today are closer friends because we worked on these projects and had a creative point of commonality, to talk about, even if they're a musician and did sound on my film. I don't know. Yeah, you just don't want to stop because it has given you this life and this community that you wouldn't have otherwise. And, the idea of stopping is also like, okay, well then what am I going to forego by stopping that in the future? So yeah.
But you literally started this up as sort of just a creative outlet.
Totally.
Like you were just like, you literally did it for fun.
Yes. Yeah. It was literally for fun. I think, I think some part of me is very pessimistic, and the idea that this would lead to anything other than itself just never really occurred to me. And I think that has worked out nicely in that it has let it just be for itself. And I think that is what allows you to, like you were saying earlier, make something that's very personal to you, because you're not thinking about anything other than what do you want to do, you know what I mean? And sort of treating each one as maybe the last. Like, I think when I was thinking about this, I was like, I don't know, I like what I need to treat this as, like, this is going to be the last thing I want to make or I can make. And so just give it your all. You know what I mean? What would you be sad that you have not attempted before you stopped or before you die or whatever? And it's like, okay, well, this is the kind of movies I love. These are the kind of characters I love. I don't know how to realize them, but I'm going to, do my best. And I don't know, there is satisfaction on the other end of that. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's literally the best reason to do anything in life is what will I regret not doing? Well, let's not be chicken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
That is, well, I won't bother bringing. I read a book on Zen Buddhism that basically said, like, that is really the crux of it.
It felt very meditative.
You will not live forever, so what do you need to do now?
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's also you just feel very lucky when you know what that thing is. I think right now I know that there's another project ahead of me. I don't know exactly what it is, and there is sort of an anxiety around that about, like, what is next? I need to sort of, like, steep on this long enough before I make a move. But yeah, I know. I mean, for me, I started working on this when the pandemic hit, and if I didn't have that, I have no clue how I would have responded to the stress of that situation. But I had something, I was furloughed, so I was like working half time. Very lucky to have been furloughed, but you have, now you have 4 more hours every day, and I knew what I was going to do with those hours, and I was living in a studio apartment with my partner at the time. And it was like, I had the answer basically to, like, what am I going to do with my time? So yeah, it worked out great.
Nice. Well, I have to add the comment that I just think it's so freaking great. No, fucking great. Cause we can curse on here. We have the expletive thing checked, but that you really went to it for enjoyment. That it wasn't, okay, I want to end up a feature film director in Hollywood with a 5-picture deal, so I will start with shorts. Like you did it for the exact right reason, which was that you wanted to do what you were doing, which I think is awesome. Yeah. But my actual question is, so like when you made the first film, like did you even think about festivals at that point? Or because like you didn't do like the film school shit where everyone starts talking festivals. So like you just made it and you watched it and you showed it to friends and
that is it.
And you were happy.
We did not. Again, like it sounds. It didn't occur to us. You know what I mean? I think it was a film about a man falling in love. His wife passed away and he fell in love with their pet parrot. And like, you know, it was like bizarre and very weird. And it was just something that was fun to meet with your friends on a regular basis and talk about something bizarre, like a man falling in love with a bird. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're going to grab beers and talk about something. Like, why not? It could be, you know, it could be anything. But just make it this. That sounds great.
For sure. For sure. All right. So you kept making more. You kept doing it.
Kept making more. And I think
a lot of the same team members. Like it was really a group of friends doing it together.
Yeah, a lot of the same team members, and I mean, it's like I said, you just sort of blink, and then you've made a little documentary and a little horror short, and you sort of, I think you get to dabble in a bunch of different genres and modes, and I think Hey HeLP-O Let's Go is the first time I felt like, oh, this is something that I've sort of zeroed in on in terms of, I think this is what I'm best, I'm naturally specifically good at in terms of what I am as like a filmmaker. And so it's something that I don't think I'm done with. It's something that I'm going to explore some other use of the costume, some other kind of scale. I'm definitely not done with it. And it gives me access to my favorite parts of filmmaking, when you're focusing on movement and action, however like slow that action might be. HeLP-O kind of sort of hovers and like, hoves through space. But those are the parts of filmmaking that make me the happiest, is just thinking about how something is moving through a frame and how two cuts are interacting and what is the way to make that the most kinetic for the audience. And so, I'm not done experimenting with it yet. Something's gonna knock loose.
Because it is an experiment, and it should be.
Yes,
everything should be.
Yeah,
I mean, all the best creatives, all the directors. If you're not trying to come up with something new, then who wants it? So anyway,
absolutely. No.
So when is this the first film that you took out on the festival circuit, or did any previous shorts?
In a serious way, yes. I think we applied to maybe 5 or 6 festivals for earlier shorts, but not in a way where we had dedicated some amount of budget to it and some time to actually promote the film. And we did a Kickstarter an Indiegogo that served as a means of promoting the film like within my community. So definitely the first time that we attempted this, and it's been a really rewarding experience. I mean, I would definitely recommend, if you're a filmmaker, I feel like you have to do it at least once, because as jaded or cynical as you can be, sitting in the Sherman Oaks Film Festival, listening to a crowd's reaction to seeing HeLP-O come onto screen is a once in a life experience. It's interesting, and it's nuanced, and it's very specific. And it's not like their reaction was like, oh, you know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was like some sort of amalgamation of like curiosity and interest and I don't know. It's just something that you kind of can't get outside of a theater, and I don't know. I think you have to do it.
Oh no, there's something. I'll try not to get on too high a soapbox, but storytelling. We are built for storytelling. As our brains, we sat around a campfire at the end of every day and shared our day.
Yeah, totally.
And the human brain is just designed to tell stories. And you have to have people together for the experience.
Yes.
Watching a film alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm probably there's probably somebody out there who is happy to watch a film alone and not discuss it with anybody else. I think that person would probably be better off if we put them on a ship and send them to the moon, because I don't want that person. That person doesn't belong in society anyway.
Yeah.
It's about the shared viewing experience is huge.
Yeah,
it's huge, and it's huge to pick up. And I always love how I don't get to sit in the theaters anymore. But like sometimes, as a festival runner, like I'd be in the theater and I would realize that the audience didn't realize they were watching a comedy, and then you laugh, and then everyone gets their permission, and then everyone realizes, oh, people are dying, but this is funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that shared, every reading, every audience has its own personality, really. And yeah, it must be really great to watch your work like that, especially when your work is not mainstream, and see how people respond to it.
Yeah, and it's also another unique benefit of the sort of festival scene too, is that you're gaining access to an audience that doesn't know you. And, you could show it to the people that you know and love, and they're going to give you, their most genuine reaction that they possibly can, and their most genuine feedback. But there is something just very unique about a stranger reacting to your work and you getting to experience that. And I don't know what it's like for a painter to sort of like be in a room anonymous and watch people engage with their work, but it has to be as close to that as is accessible to a filmmaker, I guess. Yeah.
And I mean, well, you actually did perform in the film in a way, but it's also, I always think of the stage, like stage actors get immediate feedback.
Yes.
But when you make a film, you're kind of living in a vacuum until you finally get it on screen in a room with other people.
Yes. And then when it's on the screen, you're sort of living in the past, and you're getting all this feedback about what you would do different, and what you would do different in terms of the product that you've already made, like changes that you would have done had you known where the product was going to end up, but also what do you want to do next, and how are you going to change? I am so happy with HeLP-O, Let's Go. I love it. It speaks to all of my artistic ideals, and specifically my ideals back then when it was first made. But those ideals and priorities have changed, and I think if I edited it again today, it would be a different film, probably a like shorter, snappier film, maybe.
And is that change also just the growth of having made it? Like you grew through making it, and
absolutely.
So you're right. You're never the same filmmaker.
No.
When you start, you're a different person when you finish, and then
Well, even better that you said a different person, because I do think it's telling you a bunch about yourself. You know what I mean? And I think what I realized in the process of watching it is, I think I could maybe stand to be a little bit less prescriptive. You know what I mean? And a little looser, and a little more playful. You know what I mean? Maybe in general, but also in terms of my creative practice too. And so, I think that's something that's just, that's universal to any kind of artistic practice, is that you're finding out stuff about yourself. But I don't know, it's especially fun in a festival scenario.
And you have had a really kick-ass festival year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
I think I quit social media in January,
No.
but I still lurk now and then.
Yeah, we've screened at maybe 6 or 7 festivals.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, I could not be more
than
more
that
grateful.
Is like every month. You can't do every month, right? Every other month is better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. I'm so grateful, and yeah, it's been anything that I think anybody should be willing to expect from this process. Again, it's like if your expectations are in line with reality, then you should be looking forward to what people reacting to your film, and getting a sense of that, and getting everything that you can out of that. And that's enough. Yeah, more than enough, actually.
More than enough.
Yeah.
And so 6, which that's a good number of festivals. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
Are you still cranking though? Are you still going?
We've got one more in San Francisco next week, which will be sometime in the past now. But yeah, so really excited about that as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you're already planning more of them?
I think that's probably going to be the end of our run. There are some monthly festivals.
I'm sorry, I meant another film.
Oh,
Sorry.
another film. Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's sort of like, I'm sure you've heard this from other filmmakers, but I think the big question for a lot of people right now is, where are audiences today? So my inclination is to make another short film, but also it's difficult not to say that, audiences are on social media and they're online and do you need to make some kind of project that can also meet audiences in those spaces as well? So I think that's sort of what is producing this anxiety in me, where I'm thinking about what I'm going to make next, is because it's not just what are you going to make, but what form is it going to take and where is it going to land, or where is it going to land first? I think I appreciate that, movies can sort of operate in different ways on different platforms. And I'd like whatever I create next to eventually find a home in film festivals. But at the same time, I feel like it also needs to exist in ways that are bespoke to places where other audiences are. And so I don't really know what that means yet. I think it's something big that can take different forms in editing. But I think that's what's the struggle right now, is like, what is that? I don't know.
Look, you happen to be a director, a filmmaker in a time where the entire industry is not sure what it's doing. Right, the entire. I mean, there are people with billions of dollars at stake who are like, who are we making things for, and where are they going to see it? They really don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and in that,
and like 10 years ago, everyone still knew the exact path here. First, or maybe 15, but yeah, it was
10 years ago, absolutely.
Yeah, 10 years ago, it was like, we're gonna do this, then this, then this, and then it ends up there, and like it was just a pattern, and you just paid someone to get you through that pattern, maybe. But
exactly, I mean, the question is being directly focused on cinemas also. You know what I mean? It's sort of,
and I mean, here I am. I spent the whole weekend. I spent 4 days basically around a film festival with people. And I'm like, well, no, I don't go to movies. I only watch submissions to the festivals. I don't have time to go to the movies. But also, if I went to the movie theater, it's they're not making what I want to see a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then when there is something that I need to see, like, I don't even hear about it now because it's sort of, I guess I'm just hitting more nails into the coffin of, no, like, the film business has gotten really confusing because,
Yeah. I mean, not to timestamp this episode, but everybody's talking about this potential Netflix takeover of Warner Brothers.
Yeah, last week Netflix and then yesterday or today the Paramount or the Larry Ellison hostile
takeover of Warner Brothers.
Everyone's like, so we're just going to end up with, we used to have 3 TV networks, now we're just going to have 3 streamers.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the question is sort of like, what kind of art are we making for who and where and at what level? So a part of me almost hopes that we're going to see film look more like theater does today, right? Where I don't think the film industry is actually going anywhere. Like before before my last couple jobs, I worked in theater, and when was theater's peak? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like,
we haven't talked at all.
Hundreds of years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's certainly not when I was working there. So
it's true that sadly, even I always have a New Year's resolution to see 5 plays a year. It's like my goal to see human beings on stage. And I don't always get there.
Sure.
But yeah, there was a time when everyone in America or everyone could name like a playwright.
Sure.
I can't name I guess I can name living playwrights.
Yeah, absolutely.
But only because they were famous 30 years ago.
I was about to say that's just a funny comment because the 2 playwrights I was going to name, I both know through films. I was going to say like David Mamet. Like Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
And like I just watched some Dolly Parton movie. What was it? Steel Magnolias, and Sam Shepard's in that. You're sort of like, oh yeah, that's right. So anyways, yeah.
Yeah. But so you did have interest in stage, though. I don't know. We don't have to talk about your non-film life much, but I'm aware I've left off one question I always like to ask, which is where you grew up.
Oh, I grew up in Orange County, so just on the
Gotcha.
other side of the border from Long Beach.
Yeah.
But yeah, so born and raised down there.
not too far from the film industry. So when you thought about doing it, it wasn't like you lived in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and all of a sudden said to your friends, "Let's shoot something."
No, but it did sort of feel that way, I would say, in that we didn't know anybody, and still, I mean, yeah, we didn't know anybody in the film industry. All my friends were just from the area, and they have since gone on to work at, Warner Brothers and Netflix and other places like that. But it did kind of feel like we were from Kalamazoo, because
right, you're far enough. You were far enough away that you could have been anywhere.
Yeah, you didn't know anybody who had any professional skills, and you had no connections. And I don't know if I really have any better connections today. You know what I mean? I'm working with the same team of people. So, yeah. But again, it wasn't a problem. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it's a problem today. So yeah.
Excellent. And you mentioned stage. You worked with that
I worked
a
in
bit.
marketing. Yeah, I worked in marketing at the
marketing.
Geffen Playhouse, basically. Yes, exactly. Which I would encourage everybody to check out right now. They've got really, really good programming over there. They're over in Westwood, and some really affordable tickets. If you show up at will call at the, there's always some kind of seat available, no matter what the play. But yeah, absolutely.
It is a great place, actually.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I remember when it was the Westwood Playhouse.
Yeah.
And then, thank God, a billionaire decided to help
Geffen.
out live. Let's not let live theater die.
I know. Yeah.
For the rounding error of the interest he makes at the end of the year, he kept the theater alive.
Absolutely.
I think I like to acknowledge
for sure
when the hugely successful people actually help.
Yeah, absolutely. David Geffen came in there and made a very generous donation, and the Geffen's going strong. It's really great.
That's excellent, and that must be really rewarding to just be associated with live theater.
I mean, it's funny. It's great that you brought that up, because the HeLP-O Let's Go's lead, Quinn Francis, I met at the Geffen Playhouse, right? And I think like that's actually, it's so funny that people talk about Los Angeles as this sort of like hub of or like a sort of a light that sort of all these like creative moths are sort of attracted to. And I think that is true, and in ways that are just very self-evident. You know what I mean? Like, I would not have met her had I not worked there. I think we both worked there because we have interests and creative interests in that area. Like she's an actor, so I think she had a more direct connection to theater. But it just so happened that we became friends and then wanted to make something together. You know what I mean? So cool. I don't know. Yeah, it's always funny to me that you can make a decision for one reason, but as long as that's a good reason, it can lead to just like other benefits. So
yeah, for sure. And thank you for the reminder that I need to see more live performances.
We'll see if I know people at the Geffen. We can get you a ticket. Yeah, absolutely. That's true. A big call. Yeah.
Admittedly, we used to have the season tickets at the Taper Forum downtown, because I loved the kind of shows they would show at the Taper.
CTG is
and
great.
then they shut it down.
Is great.
They shut down the Taper, and now there's only the big shows I'm not interested in.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's another benefit to living in LA, right? Is that we've got smaller theaters, we've got middle-sized theaters, we've got the Pantages too.
But I'm screwed because my taste is such that the successful stuff that comes here from New York, I have no I tried to be a sport and go to the Pantages, and I maybe enjoy 1 out of 4.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And only when it was something old like Cabaret, I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing.
But then, absolutely.
So I actually, I can't.
That's
people
fair.
are like. But anyway, that's just me. But it's weird to have bad taste. I joke that I have bad taste.
No.
But yeah, because I even need to go to like a smaller playhouse. Yeah, like the Geffen, because the kind of show that can fill a 5,000 seater,
yeah,
it's probably not for me.
It has to have a structure and it has to be pulled from a series of ideas that are a pool of ideas that maybe aren't interesting to you. I think the great thing is that a lot of CTG has a smaller theater. The Geffen has the Audrey, which is it's not a 99-seat theater. It's slightly bigger than that, but a smaller theater on the premises where it can execute on sort of more experimental, odd stuff.
Yeah, that's inspiring because when they closed the taper, we thought, oh man, where are we going to buy tickets now? Where are we going to? And it actually didn't occur to me. And we're like 10 minutes from.
Sure.
I live really close to Westwood. Actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you go. You've just inspired me.
Okay, great.
I guess maybe 2026 is the year.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to bring up, or should we? I mean, I think we're up to date.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would just, you can find HeLP-O Let's Go on all of the platforms at HeLP-O Let's Go. No punctuation, no, well, wait a second. I think the exclamation...
We can make it clickable links.
The exclamation points are in there. The dashes are not in there. The handle makes sense when you look at it, but it should be online in the next 6 months because I do think we're coming towards the end of our festival run, and I'm just really excited to put the film online and share it with an even broader audience and get even more feedback. But yeah, again, I would just to circle back though, I would just encourage everybody to, if you're a filmmaker, engage with festivals and participate, at least once, because it is a totally unique experience. It's the closest thing that I can think of to, and don't get too deep into this, but to therapy, where it's like, the therapist is this person who occupies this sort of like superposition that your family and your friends and your loved ones can't occupy. And I feel like that is what an audience of strangers and peers can provide you. And that is sort of the real value of these festivals. So,
And even though you have your collaborators and you have your team, but it's still a bit isolating, right? Creatively, until you get to that place and you, I happen to know the two films you played with yesterday at Sherman Oaks.
Sure.
And like, I don't think you'll see two films like that anywhere else either. And like, you got to meet people who, a guy who made a film about the teeth in your butt.
About teeth in your butt. Another one about a child driving a car in like a pink future abstract world.
Yeah.
And
and you can't. How else? You get to meet and you get to say to yourself, "Yeah, see, I'm not crazy.
Absolutely no.
I got peers. I got people I got community."
I'm consistently shocked by the points of commonality, even in the Q&As, which is another sort of feature of the Sherman Oaks Film Festival. Is you get these specific Q&As with each director individually, but in what the other two directors were sharing, I was hearing exactly my same thoughts and my same processes. And, it was just interesting in that you think that, you are alone in some way of thinking. And no, actually, like in this group of people specifically acting in this mode, of course, you see similar tendencies and similar patterns because the work is of a similar quality and a uniqueness. So, yeah, it's just really exciting.
Yeah, it is. Again, I think human beings do need... We are social beings.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Just like guinea pigs. Guinea pigs need to be around other guinea pigs.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Just like any animal.
Yeah, we are social animals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
totally.
when we're isolated, we go nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
So make films. It's healthy.
Make films, share films, participate in traditions that are connected to exhibition and cinema and screenings, because in our time, that is what the art form that you've chosen to participate in has access to, and make the most of it and get out there and engage with it, because I found it just super beneficial.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm glad you had such a good year.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate you having us.
All right. Well, I will do my first wrap up in like 6, because I have on my calendar says podcast shutdown, and all the podcasts are blocked for 6 weeks before a festival, and the festival ended last night. So let's see if I remembered how to do this.
Right on.
Rubbing the hands together. So first, thank you, Kevin, for being here.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming in person. I don't mind Zoom, but this is just better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Being
for
face
sure.
to face with another human. Here, I talked about human connection, right?
Yeah, totally.
But I do fool myself into thinking I'm with that person on Zoom.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's like I was talking about the benefits of creative pursuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you and I would not be here talking to one another if you decided not to start holding film festivals, and if I hadn't started to make short films. And it's like,
true.
Why would you sort of miss out on the opportunity to have a conversation and share the space with somebody who you wouldn't have otherwise? You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I have thanked Kevin. Now I'm going to thank everyone who's listening. If you are listening to this is the Discover Indie Film podcast. You can learn more about it if you go to discoverindiefilm.com. If you are on social media, it's always at DIFwins. And I already did give away I quit social media almost a whole year now. Woohoo! I've only posted twice in 2025, I think. But from the No Kings rallies, I couldn't help but post from a No Kings rally. I gave in, and then all the comments reminded me why I quit social media.
Oh, no.
But anyway, even though there were many positives, but anyway, distraction. So at DIF Wins, that was my way of saying that my wonderful podcast producer Karina, hey Karina, that's who checks the social media. So if you write to at DIF Wins on social media, I won't be the one who sees it, but someone even smarter than me will. And that's discoverindiefilm.com's website. If you go to discoverindiefilm.org, that is the nonprofit charitable organization that runs 2 film festivals in the Los Angeles area, Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Film Invasion Los Angeles. So just go there, and they're both linked from there. I used to give both websites. Now I don't anymore because I'm lazy. But if you are hitting them up on social media, Sherman Oaks is at Sherman Oaks FF, and Film Invasion LA is at Film Invasion LA. And they are. I failed to call them sister festivals, but I normally call them sister festivals, just to tee myself up, just to create the segue to say, and they have a cousin in January. You don't know this, Kevin? There you go. See, next month, January 16th and 17th in Lima, Peru, we are holding Film Invasion Lima.
Okay.
And very happy about it. I won't be there. I was almost going to be there, but it's just next year. I believe the second edition of Film Invasion Lima we've already agreed will be in February, so it's not so close to Sherman Oaks.
It's a lot easier for you to get to Sherman Oaks.
The team in Lima is awesome.
Glendale than Peru.
Hey, Pilar and Chevy,
Yeah.
you guys rock. But they chose January because that's it. And I was like, they're like, because it's summer
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't. I just can't rally after.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I got Sherman Oaks. We got Thanksgiving. Then I got a film festival. Then we got Christmas and New Year's. And then I got to like rally my body. And it's like,
No way. No.
Yeah, I can't do it. I couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
But next year, 2027. I'm already talking about 2027. I'm a ridiculous person. All right. Thank you again, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.